Guys, so welcome to the very first episode of the Detail Vice Bootcamp. All right, what we're going to be covering in this series, it's going to be a 7-part series. Okay, this is going from zero, not knowing a single thing about detailing, business, any of that, scaling all the way to 10K a month. This isn't going to be surface level information that you can find on social media or YouTube. This is going to be in-depth, step-by-step processes that you could take yourself and go out there and start a business, okay? So if you want to get your mom out the hood with washing cars, this is going to be your first step. Now, who am I and why should you be listening to me about how to grow your detail business? My name is Diego. I scaled my detailing business, DK Mobile Wash, to 35K a month in just under 2 years. So everything that I'm going to be covering in this series is things that I've actually done in my own business or wish I would have done knowing what I know now. Now, before we jump into this, I want you guys to really understand something. All this information, all this value isn't going to mean shit if you don't do anything with it. It's all here. I'm giving it to you on a silver plate. But if you just watch this video and continue down the same path you've been going down for years, months, whatever it might be, not a single thing in your life is going to change. I want you guys to go through this with me, actually implementing the things I'm telling you to do so you can get the most value out of this series as possible. All right, so in the first part of the series, we're going to be covering 4 topics, all right? The first is going to be pricing. This is something I see so many guys get wrong from the get-go, and they just end up burning out because they're charging way too low. Their packages aren't set up correctly, and they're really just winging it from the start, which was something I did and I could have gotten right and saved a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money. And then the second thing we're gonna be covering is your branding. So your name, your logo, how you're gonna show up in your market and represent yourself and your business. The third topic we're gonna be covering is how to set up your payment processor. Because so many newbies out there are still only taking cash, doing Cash App, Venmo. It just looks unprofessional and you're gonna turn a lot of people off. So getting a solid payment processor set up from the get-go is gonna be super beneficial for you guys. And then the last topic we're gonna cover is, of course, your detailing setup. So what products and tools you're actually gonna need to go out and do amazing work. This way you're not wasting time buying the wrong things and you know exactly what you need to deliver amazing results every single time. All right, so with that being said, of course, we're gonna jump straight into pricing, all right? There's really 3 ways you can think of pricing, right? Okay, you could think of it of doing 50 jobs in a month at 200 bucks a piece. That'll get you to 10K a month. That's gonna be more on the lower ticket. Maybe for a lot of you guys, you're hearing that and that's high, and you're fucking up if you think that's high, okay? So option 2 is gonna be doing 20 jobs at $500 a piece. A lot of you are probably shitting the bed thinking there's no way someone's gonna pay $500 for a detail. You just have limiting beliefs and you're probably not providing enough value. So that'll obviously also get you to 10K a month, or you could be somewhere in the middle doing 33 jobs in a month at around $300. That's right about where I sit today in my business. Our average ticket is anywhere from $250 to $300 a detail, which is pretty solid. All right, so what are gonna be the pros of starting on the lower end? 1, you're gonna fill your schedule a lot faster. 2, you're gonna be in higher demand because obviously more people can afford it at that price point. 3, you're gonna have a lot less sales pressure. And then 2, you're gonna gain a lot of word of mouth traction. So you hearing this, where you think, why shouldn't I start at 200 bucks a detail? You cannot operate a business at a high level charging that little. You're just gonna burn out fast. When it comes to bringing on more overhead, employees, van, shops, you're just not gonna be able to freely operate at that capacity. So you don't wanna be stuck there forever. Now, what are the pros of operating closer to $500 per detail, right? You have to book fewer jobs to make more money. 2, there's gonna be a lot more profit. 3, you're gonna have a much better brand because you're providing a ton more value. And then 4, obviously, less bookings are gonna be required to get to your monthly goal. So now you kind of wanna balance out the 2. They're both really good, but they're both not super sustainable. So you wanna be somewhere right in the middle, and this is gonna be your best option here. Somewhere in between $250 to $300. That's the sweet spot when it comes to mobile detailing. Obviously, I'm talking for your center package here, one that most people are gonna be going for. So now with that being known, how do we structure the packages that we're actually gonna offer to the market around that price? I offer a total of 7 packages. We have 3 full detailing packages, 3 exterior only packages, and 2 interior only packages. And I'll show you what that looks like now. So we have our entry or maintenance level package. This one is gonna start at $189. Obviously, when you're doing this detail, you're gonna provide a lot less value, doing a lot less services, but you still have the opportunity to bring in those clients who can't afford your mid to higher tier packages, okay? In the middle, we're gonna have our full detail package, which is gonna be starting at $247. Now, what this package looks like is exactly what you think of in your head when you think of a full detail, okay? It's pretty much all you could think of except for those special add-ons like waxes, paint corrections, any deep shampoo or stain removals, stuff like that, okay? Those those are all gonna be add-ons, which we'll get into later. And then our top of the line full detail package, this one is gonna be starting at $399. Now you might be wondering, what do I mean when I say starting at? So the only way these prices would vary without add-ons solely has to do on the size of the vehicle. All of our clients, we charge an additional $50 if it's an extra large vehicle. Extra large trucks or 3-row SUVs, obviously because they're gonna take a lot more time and a lot more effort. We covered all of our full detail packages. Now we're gonna get into our 3 exterior only packages. So the first one is just gonna be our classic exterior package. This one is gonna start at $169. You might be thinking that's quite a lot for just an exterior package, which it is, but at the same time, we're providing a lot more value. This isn't just a wheels, tires, and hand wash. Okay, of course, we're gonna do the wheels and the tires, clean up the wheel wells really nice, but we also throw in a decontamination wash and a spray sealant to add that extra value, allowing us to charge more, of course. Our next exterior only package is gonna be our wax and buff, and this one is gonna be starting at $289. This is pretty much what you think of in your head when you think of a wash and wax, except we always throw in a clay treatment as well, just to up the value and make sure the clients are actually getting what they're paying for. And then our top tier exterior only package is gonna be a cut and polish. And this package runs for $439. Okay, and this is exactly why you guys need to increase your skill set to be able to charge prices like this, okay? Because most of you just know how to do the basics, or you haven't even started yet. You're never gonna be able to hit numbers like this if you don't increase your skill set and learn these types of services. People are more than happy to pay for these jobs if you do them right and obviously provide the value that you're promising at this price point. All right, now let's knock out our final 2 packages. Of course, is our interior only packages. We got our classic interior package, which is gonna start at $186. This is more of a quick job, but of course it's still gonna be very detailed at that price point. It's gonna be a vacuum, a thorough blowout, clean and detail all the surfaces, doors, dash, cup holders, steering wheel, all that type of stuff. As you guys know, more than not, people are just concerned about the interior. A lot of people could care less about the outside of their cars. It's great to have multiple packages because during those winter seasons especially, this is what people are really gonna care about. Our other interior only package is gonna be the deep clean package, and this one is gonna be starting at $289. This is essentially the same thing as this classic package, but it just has more add-ons already included at that fixed price at a discounted rate, okay? So rather than them choosing this package here and then adding on all those add-ons and running up the bill, they could just go for this, which includes most of them, and they get more of a discount. So in the customer eyes, a lot more value is provided, but they're getting it at a cheaper price. Now, I know a lot of you guys are watching this are probably curious, you know, what actually goes into these packages? What services are we providing for each and every one of these? In the description of this video, I'll put a link to all of our pricing breakdowns. So it'll cover the price, of course, the package, the profit margins, the costs, and then what's actually included in every single one of these packages. So you could go in and really get a good idea for what goes into these. Am I saying that you guys should start off charging these prices? Possibly. It's really going to depend on your city and the skill set you have going into this. But I would always say your best measure is to start high and then go low depending on the feedback that you get from your market. And when it comes to the add-ons that I offer for my business, I'm going to spitfire these really quick because there's a ton of them. Add-ons are super, super important. Like this is where my average ticket goes from like $250 to $350 to $400 because one, my booking site presents the add-ons super, super easily. So a lot of the times people just go through and click them because they're presented so well and it makes it easy. And 2, we have add-ons for every single person's needs. So let's jump into it. So on the protection side, we have a 1-step paint correction for $150. We have a wax add-on for $75. We have a windshield ceramic coating add-on for $96. Seat shampoo is $40 per row. Carpet shampoo is also $40 per row. We also throw in a kid's car seat cleaning for just $15. All the other extra add-ons, leather conditioning for $50, pet hair removal for $40, water spot removal for $50, sap removal also $50, odor removal is $75, clay bar treatment is $35, headlight restoration is $80 for the pair, and then an engine bay detail is $50, and then an engine bay detail is $50. As you can see, it's a shit ton of add-ons, but that's really what runs up the ticket with my details. Make sure you guys have all those on your booking site. Make sure that all your customers know that you offer those add-ons. Some booking sites make it harder than others, but you need to make sure it's as easy as possible for your clients to go in there when they're booking a detail to just click those and add them to the cart. So the next topic we're going to be covering is branding, which is super, super important. This is how you're going to represent yourself to your market and how everyone is going to remember your name. So there's really 2 parts to it. 1 is what are you going to name your business? And then 2, what is your logo going to look like? Without a brand, there's no business. When it comes to picking your name, you want something that's super simple and easy to say. The way I like to think about it is, say there's a client standing across the street from you, and they're yelling, asking you what your business name was. You want to be able to shout your business name and it be understood, they could remember it easily, and they could spell it, which is super important when they come to looking you up. So obviously, like my name, it's super simple, okay? It's just my initials, D, BK Mobile Wash, all right, what we do. So many guys out here have like shit names, okay? It's like Extra Money Mobile Detail, okay? Or one right here I see is Drip or Drown Mobile Detail, okay? Don't make your name corny, don't make it long, just get straight to the point, make it simple, make it something that people can remember. Something that's even better is you could add the name of your city in your business. And this is strictly for ranking purposes only. What's the most common search term when people are looking for detailing? It's city and then mobile detailing, or city, car detailing. So if your name matches that perfectly, you're gonna rank much better in your city. Okay, now same kind of premise when it comes to the logo. You just wanna make it stupid simple. So many guys out there have the most complicated logos. You can hardly tell what the name of their business is, what they do. It's just way over the top, all right? What I'd recommend for all you guys is just using your name, just using the name of your business in a nice font, in a way that looks presentable. And then I always use the color blue for my logo. And I do that purposely because blue is the color representation of service. But subconsciously, people automatically refer the color blue to service and trust. When it comes to payment processors, this is something that's super self-explanatory. You know, I can only give you guys so much information on this. You're just gonna have to go out and set it up yourself. But of course, I can tell you which processors to use. The one that I use in my business, I used it from the start, and I use it to this day, is Square. Now, the reason I use Square is because I was able to set it up without an LLC in the beginning. You guys are probably scared, oh, what about taxes? What about the IRS? You don't have to worry about it. It's all automated from the get-go. So you'd essentially just be operating as a sole proprietor in the beginning, but eventually when you do get your LLC and your business bank account, of course you could just link it to your Square. Now, why do I recommend Square out of all the other processors? And one is really just the ease of use. It's just so simple. You have the app on your phone. People could even tap to pay on your phone now. It's a new feature that they could just put their card up to your phone and it accepts the payment. And then I really just like how simple their tracking is. Okay, it allows you to track not only card payments, obviously, because you're taking them, but also cash. So this way you know exactly what your revenue is each and every single month. A lot of guys that I talk to, they talk about their goals and they're trying to get to a specific number. And I ask them, well, what are you doing right now? And they have no fucking clue because they don't track any of their payments. Of course, not from card because they don't have a payment processor set up, and then two, cash because they just don't keep track of anything. That's a lesson that my mentor really hit on in the beginning, is track every single one of your payments. Early on in my business career, I had the opportunity to partner up with some investors and buy another detailing business. And the whole reason it fell through is because the owner of the detail business couldn't prove any of his numbers. He didn't track anything. He just claimed to have X amount of cash coming in every single month, but he had nothing to show for it. So make sure you're tracking everything. Make sure you're tracking everything. And then obviously just having a card processor makes you look way more professional. A lot more people are gonna take you serious. You're never gonna run into problems with people not being able to pay you, because who doesn't have a fucking card, right? I'm gonna leave the link to Square in the description so you guys could go set that up. It's super easy, super simple. I'd recommend getting it from the get-go. And then another nice thing is you could send invoices through Square. So when you're working with businesses, they're not just gonna pay with the card. Most likely they're gonna ask you to send them an invoice, and you could do that through Square as well. Now we're gonna move on to your detailing setup. So this is something that people spend way too much fucking time on, waste so much money on. Oh, what's the best detailing products? Oh, what should I get for my detail setup? It doesn't fucking matter, okay? Can you detail a car and get amazing results or not? That's all that matters. So first and foremost, obviously you're gonna need a solid pressure washer, okay? So I'd recommend getting Ryobi. You can buy them at any Home Depot. They're really reliable and they're pretty cheap as well, only about 200 bucks. When it comes to your shop vac, I wouldn't recommend anything except for rigid. Specifically, I use the 4-gallon shop vac. This is what I started with in my business, and we use them in the setups to this day, okay? And then an optional piece of equipment is an air compressor, but eventually you're gonna buy it, so I just recommend getting it from the get-go. I'd also recommend going with rigid for these. And then here's the thing, all these products come with standard attachments, but for the vacuum, I'd recommend getting the rigid car detailing kit. The one that comes with it is honestly pretty shit, so this one is gonna speed up your process like crazy. It's only an extra 100 bucks. And then pressure washer, I wouldn't recommend using the standard hose and gun. Those are the things that actually break, not the pressure washer themselves. So I'd recommend getting a really solid pressure washer hose and then a nice swivel gun. And same with the air compressor, right? Obviously you're gonna need an air hose, but when it comes to attachments, you might as well just get a Tornador. I'm sure you guys have heard of them or seen them online. They speed up your process like crazy. It's really the most important tool when it comes to speeding up your detail process. So I would just recommend getting that from the get-go. And then when it comes to your tools, you're gonna need some detailing brushes, obviously some spray bottles for your chemicals. I would recommend getting a drill brush as well, because just like that Tornador, it's gonna speed up your process. And then for the drill, you could get some drill brush attachments as well. You should get a foam cannon because the ones that come with the pressure washers are shite. Now, when it comes to chemicals, you really only need 6. 2 of them aren't even necessary to get started. These are all gonna be from Suds Lab. The reason I recommend them is because if you live near Walmart, which every single person watching this video does, you could go in and get them anytime. All right, you don't need to be ordering products online from the get-go. They make amazing products that work just as good. So the first product is their N2 interior solution. This is going to be for all interior surfaces, plastic, vinyl, leather, the whole thing. When it comes to wheel cleaner, use their zero acid wheel cleaner. This stuff works amazing. I still use it in my business till this day. You could also use it on bugs. Since it's not an acid, it's not going to be abrasive on the paint. And when it comes to wheels, it works really great and speeds up your process like crazy. And then when it comes to a shine, you can use their tire and trim dressing. It's a water-based dressing, so it doesn't leave that oily, nasty, slick feeling after you apply it. When it comes to snow foam, they have a great ceramic foam. It's super cheap. It's really heavily dilutable and it foams up like crazy. And then when it comes to glass cleaner, you really can't go wrong with Spray Away. It's cheap, $5. You can find it at any Walmart, Home Depot. I'd recommend you guys from the get-go to offer wax, okay? This is gonna teach you those base skills for the higher level services like paint correction, ceramic, that type of stuff. So from the beginning, offer wax so you can learn that skill early on. And when it comes to towels, you only really need two, right? You need your microfiber drying towels. I'd recommend Golden State. They're super cheap. I know none of you have ever heard of them. And that's why they're so good, okay? They're not like these big brands that charge crazy numbers for the same thing you're getting. And then of course, some microfiber towels for your everyday cleaning, you know, glass, interior, you could use them on the exterior as well. And I just recommend going with Kirkland. You could get a shit ton of them for a really low price at any Costco, obviously. So yeah, that's pretty much every single tool and product that you guys are gonna need to operate at 10K a month. It's not that hard, it's not complicated. You don't need to do a ton of research and testing new products and new equipment. Just buy this shit right here. It all works and gets you amazing results. Don't listen to these people online who are saying you need the best of the best. It's just not true. Just get started with what you can invest. You could always buy better stuff. So now you have everything in line to go out there and start marketing this business. But we wanna make sure we're starting with a solid foundation, because if you build a house on a shit foundation, it's gonna come crumbling down when you actually go out to build the business. In the next parts of the series, we're gonna be covering how to actually take all this stuff and actually go out and get clients in the most cost-effective and time-effective way. I know you guys are probably expecting some crazy sauce here, but we just need to get the necessities covered first before we get into that type of stuff. So for those of you guys that are following along, make sure you have your pricing and packaging set up properly. Make sure you have a solid name and logo. Get that payment processor set up through Square. And then of course, go out and get all your equipment and detailing supplies. Be sure to check out the description down below for the pricing sheet, the payment processor link, and then I'll also leave a link to all of the equipment and products that we covered in this video. And we'll see you guys in the next one.